So morning, we were seeing. Before we commence actually any study, that Anubandha Chatushtaya has to be clear. I mean, why do I study? Is it worth studying Bhagavad Gita or not? That's a question we should ask. Looks like that, Swamiji, this is a silly question, but really, I'm telling you, I'm very serious about it. Because our commitment to the study, our commitment to the spiritual life, all depends upon that clarity. What do I get, and how do I get also? What should I do while studying? Should I do some other practices, or the study itself is enough? And ultimately, the study leads to what? And what do I want in my life? And it has any connection with the study or not? And because the distractions are more in the world, material world is promising lot, in fact, to the extent of immortality. They are talking about, the science talks about it. So, well, and we also talk about it. So then we have an option. Should I mean, do I become immortal while following the material life, or do I really get the immortality through this? And what is this immortality? How the knowledge connects me to the immortality? What is my basic urge? Why do I seek immortality in my life? All these things has a big relevance. And therefore, well, it's true that we should study Bhasyam, but we should have a clarity first. And so we began with and that begins with generally Purushartha Viveka. It all the time begins with Purushartha Viveka. And so, well, we discussed in the morning that the four Purusharthas, and Arthakama, Dharma, and Moksha. And also we discussed that ultimately one is really seeking moksha. One positively pursuing moksha, that is very rare. But everyone is seeking moksha, actually, freedom. I mean, it's an innate urge in human life. In human heart is seeking freedom. And that freedom is called moksha, etc. Well, and well, then choosing that goal, moksha, pursuing very positively and pursuing through the knowledge, etc., is very rare in this human society. Very, very rare. Very rare. So I said also in the morning, Arthakama Purusharthas are rampant. Then Dharma Purushartha, which I talked in the morning, is comparatively people choose less. Dharma is a goal of a life. Well, Hinduism talks about it, Sanatana Dharma talks about it. And what is that dharma, etc.? Dharma has a several meaning, 108 meanings are there. But here, yeah, but dharma means a pursuit of happiness. I said dharma is also pursuit of happiness, and everyone is seeking happiness.
Sorry, Samji, they are unable to hear you.
Oh.
By mistake, mute button we have.
Oh, I see. This is a recording is going on, right?
Yeah, that's what it says. They're saying they cannot hear you.
Join audio? Join with computer audio. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Oh, now it's in progress. So, sorry. And because these people are able to hear, they, So, I mean, we are in the I'm trying to get connected with our morning lecture. And so the Purusharthas basically, I mean, what are different four Purusharthas? In that the discerning the Moksha Purushartha over the other three is also very important. And that is how Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti begins. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, it's actually Purushartha Viveka. That what I am seeking
cannot hear, Swamiji.
Pardon?
Cannot hear.
Oh my
Take
God.
the microphone nearby. Cannot hear. So
No,
voice is low.
it is clear to
One says it is clear, other says it is
Your
not.
voice is low.
It's very clear.
It's clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe my side.
Where it has gone.
If voice
Sorry,
is
sorry.
getting very clear, there is not really the problem is just that
This has gone. The whole screen has gone. What to do?
We can see you, Swamiji.
Yeah, you can see me, but I am not able to see you.
Oh,
Gone. Screen is. Huh? What should we do?
They can see you, Swamiji,
They are able to see me.
and hear also.
Are you able to hear me also?
Yes,
Swamiji, we can see you and hear you. So
Okay, fine.
hopefully your video
Yeah,
will restore.
my screen is blank anyway.
Oh,
That's
my
okay.
goodness. Sorry.
Let it be. That's okay. Anyway, I have few people to, to address here, so nothing to worry. Yeah, so that is moksha as a discerning pursuit. Yeah, very few people have in this society. Anyway, and we are also discussing that basically freedom from what? It's a negative definition actually. We generally say moksha means a very positive pursuit. But Shastra describes it in a negative sense. Yeah. Freedom from something which you don't want. Freedom from something a human being doesn't want. That way it is negative. Yeah. So freedom from what? And this is a universal pursuit, right? Moksha. Therefore, freedom from something which any human being doesn't want. Universally. And well, there are things which a human being doesn't want in his life. Any human being. Eskimo, or it may be American, it may be Asian, anyone. First thing is insecurity centered on I. I don't want. I am insecure, I can't accept. So freedom from insecurity. First thing. And that is how we have a pursuit of a artha, securities in our life. So freedom from basically insecurity. Because I take myself to be insecure, I am a conscious being. And I judge myself, I am totally self-conscious. So I judge myself, I take myself to be a insecure person. And in order to become secure, well, I acquire various securities. So this is the first thing. And the second thing is freedom from, displeasure, self-non-acceptance, freedom from limitation, freedom from uneasiness centered on I. This also I don't want. Any time when uneasiness occurs, need not be positive, please understand, need not be positively unhappy. No, need not be. All the time you are not unhappy. But centered on you, at least one thing is there, that you are not able to accept totally. That goes on. That just goes on. Freedom, you can understand what I mean. Need not be you are unhappy all the time, have a sorrow all the time. But whatever you are, that you are not able to accept totally. At the level, physical level, at an intellectual level, at a mental level, any level, or even at a physiological level, one is not able to accept oneself totally. That total acceptance occurs only in the moment of joy. Yeah. That's how I say, please compare it. Yeah. Other than the moment of joy, is centered on I, is some uneasiness goes on. That's how this uneasiness, I translate it as a general self non-acceptance. Yeah. Which may lead to even unhappiness also in a situation, in a particular situation. So that is also there in all human beings. So freedom from something which I don't want, well, freedom from this uneasiness which I don't want. So these two things we said, and then we started discussing about the various varieties of the securities which I really acquire. And I said also that it's really a foolishness, because I take myself to be insecure and I think that there is some object in the world which is really called security, and that thing I will get it and I become secure. That is how human being struggles throughout the life. It may be a money, it may be a name, fame, recognition, or it may be anything else, stocks or anything, or it may be relationship. Yeah, one goes behind varieties of the relationship in order to become more and more secure. For some people, relationship is a security. For some people, money is a security, etc. And that also keeps changing. And therefore, because ultimately I'm not able to get rid of this sense of insecurity centered on I. Therefore, my struggle for the artha pursuit, securities, continue throughout. And I also said that nothing in the world can make you secure. That's for sure. Because everything is time bound. Means everything is time bound means itself is insecure. So if I am insecure and there is something which in the world which is equally insecure, then getting that insecure thing, well, cannot make me secure. Insecure plus insecure, which is not a security, it is double insecurity. That's what Pujya Swamiji also used to mention like this. And therefore, the person who basically understands that this is not the way to solve the issue, which is centered on I, the issue is I am insecure, that issue cannot be solved by acquiring anything in the world. Yeah. It has to be solved. It is a very genuine problem. We are born with this issue to be solved. But then that is not the way. One who is able to discern this, and he is able to understand that really I am not interested in getting securities. I am really interested in freedom from being insecure. Could you follow what I am saying? Yeah. I am really interested in getting freedom from being insecure. I am insecure, that conclusion should go. Really I am interested in that, not I am interested in securities. If I am really interested in securities, well, why should I change? I keep changing the so-called source of securities. I keep changing all the time. That shows really I am not interested in that. Something in the world should make me feel that I am a secure person. My struggle continues. So one who is able to discern this, that I am really interested in the freedom from being insecure rather than getting securities, this person definitely has some punya. This is called viveka, purushartha viveka. Moksha versus artha. If one doesn't understand that, in that person's life, this pursuit of moksha will never come. Yeah. In his life, only artha pursuit will be there throughout the life. And we are not against any so-called securities. We are not against money also, really speaking. Yeah, we are not against it. Money has a value, but if you look upon money as you are seeking money as a source of security, then your seeking never ends. Your seeking never ends. Yeah. If you are seeking a relationship for security, then your seeking never ends. Then let it not end, Swami. Why do you worry about? Why, you people are all useless guys. Why? You are basically a seeker in order to ultimately become a non-seeker. Yeah. You are seeking, you want to put an end to the seeking. Yeah. Therefore, you should gain something which ultimately help you to stop seeking. Yeah. And therefore, if you look upon money as a source of security, then your seeking will never end. Yeah. Money has a value, definitely. Well, sustaining life, giving certain external comforts, etc. But this inner comfort called security will never be able to. But then, Swamiji, that's what I was discussing in the morning. That's, Swami, you are wrong. Why? Because whenever I get some money in my hand, well, I feel secure, right? When if I have some money, suppose at $20,000 I have kept, in the cupboard, and just accidentally it happened that it fell down, that packet, and when you take it and start counting, you feel some security, right? Therefore, money makes me secure. No. Feeling secure is not equal to becoming secure. Feeling secure is not equal to becoming secure. And I gave you example in the morning that a person who is walking has a leg fracture and walking with the stretches, crutches, and he feels secure when he walks, but it is feeling secure. If he has really become secure, he can throw away the crutches. Why do you need crutches then, right? Because you have become secure. But no, the moment crutches go away or crutches fall down, well, you feel. So that is called feeling secure. You have really not become secure. And therefore, same way, these are all crutches. All the artha pursuits, whatever we have, name, fame, recognition, money, etc., relationship, all are various crutches. With that, we feel that we are secure. We have really not become secure. And if we have really become secure, our pursuit of artha will end. Pursuit of artha should end. But it never ends. That shows we have really not become secure. It's just a feeling. It's a feeling. So that's the reality of life. And therefore, so this is how we should discern the moksha versus artha. Why? Because ultimately we are interested in studying Bhagavad Gita, right? And therefore, so we should, if Bhagavad Gita promises moksha, but then how do I relate myself for this pursuit, moksha pursuit? That should be clear in mind. And that's how Pujya Swami used to put a lot of emphasis on this Purushartha Viveka. In fact, when you enter into Vedanta, the very first thing is this Sadhan Chatushta. In that also, very first thing is this Viveka. Nityanitya Viveka is nothing but a Purushartha Viveka. Moksha versus other pursuits. Nityam is moksha, Anityam is other pursuits. So this is Nityanitya Viveka is basically this pursuit, moksha. Anyway, and I also mentioned about that insecure plus anything in the world which you take it as security, actually it is insecure and one can remain insecure only. And I talked about that, that how the insecure thing, you depend upon thinking that it makes me secure. You depend upon that. You hold on to that. But that thing being insecure holds on to you. Holds on to you. So the person, the holder and the held, actually, who is the holder and who is the held, we have to really, that is how it is. The person to whom a person marries, this is just a by the way, it's nothing. But the person to whom you marry, just to gain a security in your life, ultimately that person holds on to you. You hold on to the person. And therefore, ultimately, it is not going to work. Pujya Swami used to say that there is nothing a greater hell than that, where, in fact, all our habits are like this. We hold on, we feel that, any habit, we feel that we actually, I'm not dependent on that particular thing. It may be a drinking, it may be a smoking, or it may be anything else. You feel that you can give up anything at any moment, but you know very well that thing has so much hold on you. You feel you have a hold over that, but that doesn't occur that way. So the inert things have so much hold on to you. It may be a drink, or it may be a tea, or it may be something else. Then what to talk of a conscious being on whom you depend for security? Naturally, being a conscious being will have a bigger hold on you, and therefore, so this doesn't work. So the other person says, Swamiji, forget about it. Gaining so many objects, you said they are all insecure and cannot give me secure, make me secure. Fine. But, we should give up. One person gave up everything. Instead of acquiring, he felt that the solution lies in giving up everything in order to become secure. And he found that he gave up everything and went to Rishikesh. And, in order to gain certain security. And then he found that, a Swami to whom he surrendered, that Swami has too much hold over him, because he himself was insecure. Anyway, point is, giving up or acquiring the securities will not make me free from the conclusion that I am insecure. No. And therefore, I am interested in making myself free from this conclusion that I am insecure. I want freedom. That's it. So moksha versus artha, purushartha over. And then, that applies even to kama also, pleasure. No pleasure is going to make you happy, forever. That's also equally true. Anything we acquire for gaining pleasure, we throw after some time. Can you tell me why a human being does this? What is the reason? Because I look upon something as a source of a pleasure. I acquire it also. And if it is giving me pleasure all the time, I should keep it. But instead, after some time, I throw away that thing and I acquire something else. Then I acquire something else. What is the reason? Can anyone say? Can anyone tell me about that? Why a human being is doing this?
We become accustomed to what we get.
Become a custom? Why? But it's not a custom, It's not a custom.
When we get used to it, it's not something that...
But why used to? It's a source of joy. It should give you constantly joy, like a heat of the fire, right? It will give you, keeps you warm all the time.
Lack of satisfaction.
But why lack of satisfaction? Why? Because you put a lot of effort to gain that object, object of joy.
But it's lack of satisfaction because it is not all the time. It's like I cannot gain. It's a limited happiness that you gain from that.
But why limited? Even for a time being, it makes me happy. But afterwards, why I throw away?
I want something that is long-lasting, eternal.
But why do I want it?
I think mind want the change all the time.
Pardon?
Our mind want the change all the time.
Mind wants to change. We are talking about the I. Forget about the mind. You take yourself as a mind, that's a different issue, but we are not right now interested in that. Why? Why anything in this world cannot make you happy all the time? Why do you feel bored with anything in the world? Anything. Including if Lord comes to you, a particular desirable form, Ishta Devata comes to you and stays with you. I'm telling you, after 24 hours, you will tell, please, I have kept a room ready for you. Give me some space.
But it's because it's something that comes and goes, right? You don't want,
But what about Lord? I get bored with a company of even Lord also. Why?
Because you're searching
Yeah,
in the wrong
but
place.
Lord also is in a name and form. It appears and goes away.
No, but He's there all the
Doesn't
time with
stay
you.
all the time.
He's there with you all the time.
He is there, but I'm not aware.
Pardon?
Lord is also someone other than me. I want
Exactly.
limitless happiness that
You're
I
looking
am.
in the wrong place. You're the source.
No, the simple thing, I will give you example. Like a child, he is crying. And what parent or mom does is, give a toy, some toy. And you see that the child stops crying for a moment. And then he throws away that toy and starts crying again. Then you give another toy. Then, stops crying. Then after a moment, it throws away that and starts crying. This is exactly happening. All toys of pleasure. We get it and we throw it. Because basically, I'm crying. I'm displeased with I am, myself. I'm displeased with the perception of myself. Basically, I'm displeased with myself. When I'm displeased with myself, well, basically, all these objects which give you pleasure here and there cannot make you happy all the time. Like that child keeps crying, even if whatever the toy you want to give. So that is the issue. I'm displeased with myself. And but Ishvara's arrangement is such that even this momentary joy which you get through the objects, it keeps the person going. If that also is not there, person will commit a suicide. That's better that person keeps going. Ultimately, in order to the person can discover one day that this is the issue is basically lying with myself. Issue is not lying outside. But Swamiji, how will I don't agree with you that I am basically displeased with myself. You can do a test. This is a very simple test. What you should do is, all so-called objects of happiness, including your mobile, you keep it away. Some people are happy with the books all the time, they keep reading. Keep away one day from morning. Keep away all the mobile and books and everything outside. And close the door and be in the room for 24 hours you want to be. You decide like that. You will find that within no time, you get up from your sofa or seat. And you will do anything else other than sitting with yourself. That proves that you basically are displeased with yourself. You don't require a mother-in-law. Puja Swami used to say, you don't require a mother-in-law to make you unhappy. You yourself are enough to be an unhappy person. And that is why nothing in the world satisfies me. I get bored with anything. Because basically I am bored with myself, I am displeased with myself. And well, the moments of, the world being impermanent, time bound, and therefore it gives you a momentary joy because the objects are time bound, so it can give you momentary joy, but cannot make you happy in amusement, forever. And therefore, ultimately, all so-called objects of securities and pleasures, etc., will make you feel secure or give a happiness for a moment, but ultimately the conclusion centered on you that I'm insecure and I am displeased with myself never go. And I'm interested in that actually, freedom from that conclusion about myself. I want to get rid of it. So either acquiring all the objects called so-called sources of security and joy, or giving up, this cannot help the person. Ultimately, he wants a freedom from something which I don't want, freedom from being insecure, freedom from being displeased with myself. One doesn't gain through these pursuits of artha and kama. No. Therefore, basically I want a freedom, moksha. And Shastra walks into this. When you are, what to do then? How to see morning I said, what is moksha? Moksha means to see yourself as a secure person. Moksha means to see yourself as a pleased person. Freedom from limitations. That's freedom you want. So, when will you see that? Yourself as a secure and a person with no limitations. When will you see? Acquiring or giving up cannot help. When will you see that? Shastra says, the thing is that you lack security or you lack this pleasure, joy, etc., you lack fulfillment. That's not the issue. You don't know that you don't lack, actually. That's the issue. Issue is not that you are really lacking security, or issue is not that you are really lacking fulfillment. You don't know, actually, that you don't lack. This is centered on I. In Shastra's vision, in Vedanta's vision, the self is totally acceptable. Self is totally acceptable. Self is timeless. Self is basically limitless. And therefore, there is no limitation at all. This is the vision Shastra gives. And this is a discoverable fact. It's a discoverable fact, and one should discover it this in course of time. So basically, the issue is of not knowing yourself. Issue is not that I'm really lacking all these things, security, etc. Issue is I'm not knowing that I don't lack. So issue is basically of a ignorance. One should know oneself. And Shastra being a pramana, means of knowledge, gives this knowledge of self, and owning up that, the issue resolves. You will see yourself a complete self, a self-fulfilled self, a self which is timeless, etc. So there are two types of problems, in which one is, the solution lies outside the problem. And that is, generally, these are the cases. Like one feels cold, definitely the solution lies outside the problem. One should go, in the sunlight, one should go by the side of fire, or one should go to Bahamas, whatever. Either. So that is the solution, outside the problem. The other type of problem is solution within the problem. And that, puzzle, like Siksha puzzle, etc. So far as if you don't know, it's a puzzle, it's a problem. If you solve it, there is no puzzle, no problem. The solution lies within the puzzle itself. So this is the issue. Here, really speaking, I don't know the self, myself. That is the issue. And not that the solution is lying outside. Just knowing. When I know, then I find that there is no problem at all. If I don't know, it's like that puzzle, which definitely becomes a big issue. Big issue. In fact, the whole struggle of a human life is not knowing this about the self. And once you know this, definitely, what about this other pursuits, Swamiji. You can continue with this. Freedom is freedom from, being insecure, freedom from, this displeasure, etc. The freedom from limitations, etc., does not mean that you give up other pursuits. Yeah, need not. Freedom is really, you are free. Freedom is this kind of a freedom, absolute freedom, where you are free to pursue, even artha kamas, etc. But we should know that what artha provides, moksha doesn't provide. And what moksha provides, artha, kama and dharma combined together cannot provide. But how, Swamiji, what artha provides, moksha doesn't provide? Well, artha provides certain external comfort. Artha provides a sustaining of a life. Bhagavad Gita cannot sustain your life. Bhagavad Gita can give a knowledge about the self and resolves the issue centered on the self. Bhagavad Gita cannot sustain your life. You have to earn. No, Puja Swami used to say, well, no lunch is free in this world. He used to say like that. No lunch is free. And therefore, what artha provides, moksha doesn't provide. We should know this. But what moksha provides, artha, kama, dharma combined together also cannot provide. So you are free to pursue. Even after pursuing moksha and gaining this knowledge, you are free to pursue even artha and kama. Well, you are at least not for you. But Swami, kama, pursuit of kama, the pleasure will not remain. But you don't need, but then your family members need, right? And therefore, you pursue for others. And that is how our kings also, they all got this knowledge at the same time, in their life, these pursuits of artha and kama continue. At least for the well-being of others, continue. You definitely still earn money for others. You may not need money. You are free to pursue. You are free not to pursue. That's freedom. That is the freedom. Not that you have to give up other pursuits. Then it is to give up. Then that means what? Freedom from something which I want. That kind of a thing. I want artha and kama. And Swamiji, your moksha is making me free from that which I really want. I want some money. And you say freedom from ultimately artha kama pursuit goes away, then really it is really not freedom. Our definition is freedom from something which I don't want, not freedom from something which I want. I want artha and kama, and if your moksha is making me free from that, then I don't want. This is the freedom, where basically you are free to pursue, you are free not to pursue. That's a freedom. So therefore, this is regarding the Purushartha. And so moksha Purushartha is the real Purushartha in human life. One wants it, and which can be gained through ultimately this knowledge of the self. There is no other way of gaining it. Anyway, and so, and this moksha pursuit also, if you say positively, people will say positively, if we want to say, we say like this, that one wants a peace in one's life. I'm just taking a little, giving you a little shade of this, another shade. So, gaining peace in one's life, or gaining security in one's life, or gaining happiness in one's life. We say like that, positively. Not freedom from being something, freedom from something which I don't want, but positively, let's say, I want a peace in my life, I want a happiness in my life, I want a security in my life, etc. If you say positively, that in that sense also we can describe that this is, basically it is not available through the objects, it's one's own nature, and one has to know it. But the question now the very big question arises is this, that really speaking it is centered on I. Why should I seek? If I am really by nature secure, why should I seek securities? If by nature I am a peace, why should I seek peace outside? By nature, if I am happiness, why should I seek happiness outside? Yeah, that's the issue. We say that the self is as though covered. Now that I want to discuss few things in this. As though covered. Like our this treasure is covered under the land. This kind of an example is there even in the Chandogya Upanishad also. That the person who has got certain land and he is very poor farmer basically, and he hardly earns his living, and this such a person has a lot of wealth inside his, the land itself, but he doesn't know. Since he doesn't know, he remains poor. So like that. So this wealth is with you, but you don't know, basically. And what are the layers which cover this treasure? The self, which is secure, timeless, the self which is limitless. What are the layers which cover? Well, there are 3 layers. Like, sometime you must have seen the water also, which is there underground, and they put a bore well, etc. Well, there are layers. There are certain rocks, etc., very hard layer. And then there is a little softer layer than that, and then there is a little more soft layer, etc. And all these layers are removed and one gains water. Same way, here also there are 3 layers as though. Shastra talks about it 3 layers. Well, why I am a seeker of all these 3, which I myself, this is my nature? Well, it says there are 3 layers as though. First is called malam. So, malam means basically impurities, which refer to varieties of the mental problems. Well, so there are 6-fold impurities, obstacles, and we know very well. We talk it also in our classes that, kamaha, krodaha, lobaha, mohaha, madaha, matsarya, etc. So, kamaha means a lust, krodaha is an anger, lobaha, greed, mohaha, delusion, etc. Madaha, arrogance or vanity, and matsarya, jealousy. So this is the first obstacle, first layer, very gross layer that is there, which doesn't allow me to to contact myself, real self. We can say like that. Yeah. So this is first malam. The second one is a vikshepa. Vikshepa is nothing but a mental disturbance. Chanchalyam we call it. Chanchalyam. Mental restlessness, extrovertedness, etc. So this is the second one, vikshepa. And the third one, is avaranam. See, the mind has got these impurities which I talked, and also this vikshepa, turbulence. Because of that, I am not able to recognize the real self. We will be seeing, and you know it also now, that the self really manifests in the mind. But mind has all these impurities, kamaha, krodha, etc. Mind also has this turbulence, restlessness. Because of that, I am not able to appreciate myself as I am. So this is the second layer, vikshepa. And the third one is a avaranam, most subtle obstacle. Malam means this impurities, grossest. Then vikshepa, a little less gross, and then the third one is avaranam, ignorance. So I am ignorant of the fact that I am the only source of this peace, happiness, and security. So I am not aware of that. So that's a last avaranam. So malam, vikshepaha, and avaranam. There are 3, and then in order to take care of all these 3 obstacles, there are 3 spiritual disciplines called yoga. 3 spiritual disciplines are there, and all the 3 are described in the Shastra. And the first one is we call it as a karma yoga. Karma yoga means, it removes this first layer of obstacles, mala nivritti. Karma yoga. In general, we call raga dvesha. These 6, kamaha, krodaha, lobaha, moha, mada, etc. All the 6, we put it in a pair, raga dvesha. So karma yoga takes care of this first layer of malam, impurities. The second one is a upasana yoga. Definitely it removes a second layer of obstacles called restlessness, mental restlessness, etc. Vikshepa nivritti. And the third one is a Jnana Yoga, basically, which removes the last layer of obstacle called avaranam, ignorance. Jnana Yoga removes that. So these 3 yogas really, Karma Yoga, Upasanam, and this Jnana Yoga really don't bring anything. They really don't bring anything. They are this sadhanam, this spiritual discipline, so yoga, these 3, basically, they make you connect with your real self. Why, Swamiji, you say like this? Because the word yoga means it has been formed from the root yunj dhatu is there. And yunj means to connect, to unite. And therefore, well, we call it yoga. Karma yoga helps you ultimately, indirectly, to gain a knowledge of yourself, to connect to your real self. Upasana also helps you to connect to your real self. And Jnana yoga, of course, can help you to connect to your real self. So therefore, these three spiritual disciplines are called yoga: Karma yoga, Upasana, and Jnana yoga. What is Karma yoga? Well, I will in second chapter I will just talk when it comes. Karma yoga basically is proper actions, proper actions also, and certain proper attitude behind the actions. General, all actions will definitely help you to get rid of this malam, kama, krodha, etc., or to get rid of raga, dveshas, likes and dislikes, etc. A certain healthy attitude behind the actions, and healthy attitudes behind the result of an action, both. In a karma yoga, there are two things are there as such, or in a karma there are two things. One is the action itself, and the other is the result of an action. These two things are only important for, well, an attitude, a healthy attitude behind the both is karma yoga. That's it, nothing else. And what is that healthy attitude? Bhagavan describes even in the second chapter and the third chapter, everywhere. Then, what is Upasana Yoga? Well, Upasana means meditations, basically. And here, meditations, basically meditations on Ishvara. And we describe meditations as a, there are varieties of the meditations, varieties of meditation. But what I generally talk about is few meditations. First is a relaxation meditation. The second is a concentration meditation. The third one is expansion meditation. And fourth is a value meditation. There are other things, but these four. In that, this Upasanam is concentration meditation, where you connect yourself to Ishvara. In a given form, you connect. And to connect to the Ishvara, well, ultimately you resort to a puja, mental worship, or mental recitation, or mental repetition of a mantra. Three things are there: mental puja, worship, or mental recitation of like a stotra, Vishnu Sahasranama, etc., mental recitation, or mental repetition of a particular mantra, and which will definitely help you to gain focusing capacity, to gain a abiding mind, to make your mind free from restlessness, etc., vikshepa, which we are talking. So this is a Upasana Yoga. And the third one is this Jnana Yoga, which consists of an inquiry into, well, basically our real nature. And it has a Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam, etc. And so basically one should expose oneself to this teaching in order to know oneself. And well, there are several doubts. Doubts are very big doubts, because what we know about ourselves, what we know about the world, what we know about the Ishvara, all those things basically will be dismantled once you are exposed to this. All the three are basically one thing alone. All the three are appearances, which is very difficult to accept. Very difficult to accept. Most of the people are not able to accept that myself and Ishvara are really one. They have a real identity. And they are, that is not, so doubts are very, very big doubts. So that should be resolved in course of time. And so that's a mananam. And lastly, one has to abide into this. If you are clear that I am limitless self, etc., free from effect of a time, etc., consciousness which is timeless, etc., still you have to abide into that, because there is a habitual error that you take yourself to be a body, etc. So it's a nidhyasana. So this is Jnana Yoga basically. Well, and so if a person goes through these three sadhanams, Karma Yoga, Upasanam, and Jnanam, well, then these three layers are removed, Mala, Vikshepa, and Avaranam are removed, and one is able to connect oneself. Now, the question is where these three yogas are been described, so that I can ultimately connect myself to this and gain moksha. Well, Vedas have described this, all the three yogas. So, Vedas are basically has, 4 portions as such. We take like this. There is a first portion called Mantra Bhaga of the Veda, where there are various suktams, where various, prayers. Sushtu Uktam is called suktam. Various prayers which have been addressed to various deities, like Agni Suktam and Durga Suktam and Bhu Suktam and Nira Suktam and like that. Several. So to various deities, various prayers are there, which is a mantra bhaga, the very first portion. And those prayers definitely help us to gain a certain grace of Ishvara, by which at least I can discern the problem. Yeah, right? Then there is a question of removing the obstacle. Before that, at least I should discern that where is the problem actually. Problem is, there is really a problem that I'm insecure, etc. is a reality, or is it's simply born of ignorance, etc. Well, so that itself is not known. As I said to you, that this Purushartha Viveka, that I really want a moksha and not artha, I want a moksha and not a kama, that itself I said you require punyam, right? And therefore, to shift this, and that this punyam, well, definitely one should gain through these prayers. So the mantra bhaga of the Veda basically helps you to gain a certain punyam, by which you gain a grace and you are able to discern the problem. Purushartha Viveka, you can able to do that. So, you are able to really diagnose the problem, we can say. Yeah. And because it's a misplaced search, basically. It's a misplaced search. You are searching all this security, etc. outside. It's basically not understanding that you are a timeless consciousness. You don't know it. So it's a misplaced search. And so it means you have not diagnosed the issue. So in order to diagnose the problem itself, you need a grace of Ishvara. That's what I mean. Anyway, so this is a mantra bhaga, helps like this. The second is a Brahmana portion, where all the karmas are mentioned and one should perform those karmas with a certain attitude, and which we call karma yoga. So Brahmana bhaga, well, describes karma yoga, we can say like that, and can help to remove this malam, ragadveshas, etc. Then the third is a Aranyaka portion of the Veda. In Aranyaka, most of the upasanas have been mentioned. Saguna Brahma Upasana, Ishvara Upasana have been mentioned, and which can help the person to make one's mind free from restlessness. So that is the third portion of the Veda. And fourth is Upanishad, right, which describes knowledge, self-knowledge. So this Karma Yoga, Upasana and Jnana Yoga, all the three are there in the Veda itself. And the first portion, Mantra Bhaga, helps you basically in order to diagnose the problem, gain Ishvara's grace, etc. through prayers. So all this. So this is how Vedas describe all the three yogas, three spiritual disciplines. But Vedas are voluminous. I have not seen any Veda, right? And you will also say, Swamiji, where we will go to see the Veda? And even if you see the Veda, you have a book also, how to open and how to read and how to understand this Karma Yoga and all that. They say 1 lakh mantras are there. In that, there are more than 80,000 mantras of a karma, related to karmas, rituals. 16,000 mantras are there for upasana, which help you for upasana. And 4,000 mantras which belong to Upanishad, various Upanishads, etc. help for jnana. Well, it's such a voluminous thing. Where will it go? So then, well, how will I gain moksha then? Well, thank God, Bhagavan has helped, Bhagavan has given a essence of the entire three, Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga, or the essence of the Vedas, ultimately in just 700 verses. And that too not in a Vedic Sanskrit. Ayyo, Om Jata Vedase Sunavam Soma Marati Yato Nidahati Vedah. Sanji, wait. What is the meaning? You have studied Sanskrit. What is the meaning of this mantra? Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Really. So Vedic Sanskrit definitely is quite different compared to our Sanskrit which we, as a language, which we use. Well, here this language is very simple in Bhagavad Gita, that way. Very familiar things. So anyway, in just 700 verses, Bhagavan gave the entire scheme to gain moksha. And therefore, and which is an Asaropanishado Gavaha, Dogdha Gopalanandana, it's an essence of the Veda. And since it is well sung by the Ishvara, we call it Bhagavad Gita. And that is a relatively small work consisting of this many verses. And it's in form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So if you learn Gita, well, definitely you have learned as though the entire Veda. And therefore all the traditional acharyas basically, well, point out that, well, you may not be able to learn Vedas, but, well, definitely if you can't study Veda, well, it doesn't matter, at least study Gita. And I will quote a famous verse from Bhaja Govindam, where Acharya himself mentioned, Bhagavad Gita kinchidadhita, Ganga jalalava kanika pita, sakrudapi yena murari samarcha, kriyete tasya yamena na charcha. So, Bhagavad Gita kinchit adhita. Adhita means studied, kinchit, little bit. Bhagavad Gita kinchit adhita, Ganga jalalava kanika pita. Like Ganga jalam, well, a drop of a Ganges if you drink even a little bit. Sakrut api yena murari samarcha. Sakrut, even once. Sakrut api, even once. Yena murari samarcha, kriyete tasya yamena na charcha. Basically, Lord Yama will never come near to such a person who has studied little bit of Bhagavad Gita, or one who has drunk even a droplet of a Ganga Jalam. Like that, Acharya mentions in Bhaja Govindam. Means Acharya also says that don't study Veda, you study Bhagavad Gita. That's enough. So I'm trying to bring a significance of, our study. So this is what it is. And Bhagavad Gita has several commentaries in different languages. And Shankaracharya himself has, of course, written a beautiful commentary. Of course, we are going to study it also, called Bhasyam. And one Acharya known, the name is Madhusudan Saraswati. Well, he has written also commentary on Bhagavad Gita verses, and that's called Gudhartha Deepika. And he also wrote a verses, initial verses, on the significance of Bhagavad Gita called Gita Dhyanam, Parthaya Pratibodhitam, etc. has been written by this Madhusudan Saraswati. He has written a commentary on entire Bhagavad Gita, but also these 9 verses, which we chant generally before we study Parthaya Pratibodhitam, etc., etc. 9 verses, also written by Madhusudan Saraswati. Anyway, so these are the things regarding, study of Bhagavad Gita, significance, etc., and significance of our goal also, and how the knowledge can help us, etc. Now we understand very well. So from tomorrow morning, well, we'll enter into, I'll just give you a gist of first chapter and a little bit of second chapter, and then we will start our portion from verse 51, because we completed verse 50 last year with Bhasyam. And we have taken we have also studied Upodghat Bhasyam, the initial Bhasyam, before even Bhagavad Gita, commentary started. Bhagavad Gita, the various, the first chapter, before first chapter also, introductory Bhasyam has been written by Acharya, that also we studied. And second chapter, 11th verse onwards, that Bhasyam also we studied. Up to verse 50 we completed. So we will start with verse 51 along with the Bhasyam. We want to complete this portion called Sthita Prajna section. So 51 to 72 along with the Bhasyam. We want to do that. So we'll start from tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.